Welcome in, everyone, to Spiritual Roots Podcast with me, Misty. Today, I have with me my friend, Kristin. Thank you so much, Kristin, for being on. A little bit about Kristin. Kristin spent over 10 years building a successful career in marketing before realizing she was being called to something deeper. Her journey of soul-searching began in 2013 when she discovered meditation and the power of mindfulness. What started as a personal practice became a passion, eventually leading her to earn certification to teach mindfulness to children and parents. This work opened the door to bigger growth, inspiring her to create new ways to help others connect with themselves and the energy of the universe. In 2022, Kristin launched Kalahari Crystals, an online shop sharing the beauty and energy of crystals, and in 2025, she stepped fully into her purpose with Aletheia Awakening. Today, she guides others to rediscover their truth, embrace authenticity, and lead lives that feel aligned and radiant. Welcome in, Kristin.
Thank you. You just made me sound so professional and
fantastic. Yeah, I love it. Do you want to open it up a little bit before we get into questions? I just like to ask.
Sure. Hey, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with Misty. This is an awesome avenue for her, and I'm so grateful that she asked me to be a part of this. A little bit about myself. I am, in my 40s. I'm single. I have fur babies, and I read books like crazy. Obviously, I'm a crystal slinger from my bio. I am starting now to really try to step into how my purpose, my soul's purpose. And that's helping people, I think, find their purpose and their truth and the light within themselves. So, I'm excited to be here and talk about, my spiritual journey. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you for agreeing to come on. I'm excited. All right, so what spiritual roots brought you to where you are currently?
Yeah, so I feel like everyone has their own, and Misty, I'm long-winded, so if you need to interrupt,
that's what we're here for.
Please interrupt me, because I will just talk forever, especially about this stuff. I just jam out on talking about spirituality and all, like, my journey, all the things I've learned. So, in 2012, I started work at a huge, media conglomerate, and I was an account manager in a small, marketing agency within that conglomerate. And I had 5 friends that I was, super close with during that time. And one of them, I would say he's probably been, one of the people that has made the greatest impact on me. And it just happened to be, on this spiritual journey. So, he invited me to go to a meditation group with him early, I think 2013 sometime. And it was the first time that, I had ever really been introduced to meditation. And, I had the same thought that I think a lot of people have at that time, which is I can't just sit and not do anything or not think for, this was an hour-long class. So I was he's like, you can do it. It'll be fine. And I was like, all right, I'm curious. So that class was interesting. We did both sitting meditations and walking meditations. And even just in the intro, the person that did the intro of that, really kind of helps you feel like you can't do it wrong. Yeah. And that really felt good to me, because I'm kind of a perfectionist, and I'm a very, I always try to be the best at whatever I do and whatever. So I was like, oh, okay, I can't do it wrong. And in that class, we actually met who ended up becoming my mentor. Her name is Kashanti, and she was a therapist. I think she was a psychologist, and had been doing that for most of her life's work, but had started on her own spiritual journey and had opened Kashanti's Garden, which was she turned her garage into this beautiful studio. And she was starting to have people come do meditations. We had a weekly group, and then we also did Judith Blackstone's Fundamentals of Consciousness, which is a huge multiple embodiment meditations all in one group. You can get her CD on audiobook or wherever, but it's pretty great. And she has all these embodiment meditations. So I started doing this work with him and Kasanti, and it started to open me up. At the same time, I actually started getting therapy. So it was a pretty transformational time for me. And therapy was actually hard. And I don't know, Misty and I both listened to Carly's White Witch podcast, and she had mentioned this, and I'm glad that she did, because I had the same experience, and I don't know that it gets talked about enough, but I started realizing all these things about myself that I didn't know, and I got really down on myself for, having all of these awarenesses of oh, I'm not I guess my general attitude was, I'm not as good a person as I thought I was, or, oh, I have way more issues that I thought I did, and that makes me, not a good person, or whatever. So the meditation going hand in hand with that kind of helped me, stay out of the, it could have gone a different way. So that was the entry into it. And then, I guess, throughout the years, a little bit after that, my sister and I took a trip to Denver, and we went into this crystal shop, and I had collected rocks my whole life, but like mica or granite that you see up here in New England or whatever. And I hadn't ever spent money on rocks or anything. So we went into the store, and this woman's like, "Oh my God, your aura is beautiful." And I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And so we had a really long conversation with her about energy and auras, and I ended up buying a golden healer piece of quartz, because we both had headaches from the, altitude. So that was my introduction into crystals, and I was like, oh my gosh, crystals, rocks have energy? Of course they do. That makes so much sense. So I started diving in on that side of thing and collecting my own rocks, and kind of learning about the energies of the earth. And then that brought me into, I think I got into The Secret around that time, Rhonda Byrne. Yeah. And I read all of her books, got really obsessed with manifestation.
That's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
The Secret.
Exactly. Yes. And then, eventually, obviously I was reading books this whole time because I'm a bookworm. So I read all kinds of books, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But, and then I got introduced to Be Magnetic through the Expanded podcast. I had a life coach in 2021, right when I moved back to New England. I lived in Nashville for 12 years, which is where all of this spiritual awakening was happening. And I kind of felt 2020, 2021, that my time in Nashville was done. And I moved back to where I grew up here in New England, and was introduced through the Expanded podcast through my life coach at the time. And I started listening to all of these stories of how people, were putting energy out there into the universe to pull in what they desired, and the work that kind of comes along with that. So then I went to the website To Be Magnetic, and they have a whole group and program, and I've kind of been in that, and that's actually tailored a lot of my own teachings on manifestation and stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm never going to stop this journey. I feel like I'm always going to learn, and I'm going to evolve, and I'm going to, I don't know, just always have things happening in the spiritual journey. It's just amazing. I love this, I don't know, curiosity, this, I don't know what it is. What I mean? I
do know what you mean. It's amazing, first of all. So, I mean, look at how far you've come from 2013 when you started and realized where you were headed, and look at where you are now. You know what I mean? The growth you've had already.
Yeah, I looking at that, like I kind of journaled a little bit before we had this.
Oh,
I
I
don't
love that. You
ever,
know me and my journaling.
yeah, like I don't do much of that like retrospection on like, you know, how far I've come, I guess. We've talked about that before, Misty, too. Like every new moon, every full moon, I'm journaling, I'm putting what I want out there, but I have a hard time. Like I do the end of the year, like the yearly, we do like a 12 days and 12 nights or whatever. And I actually just looked in, what are we, September? I just looked at what I had
Yeah.
put for last year. So that's one of my goals for this year is to really be a little bit more retrospective in terms of like, where was I at the beginning of this year? Where was I at the last full moon? Like,
Yeah.
and then, so I can take those and see the evolution and hopefully growth.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome. I love that. And I just wanted to quickly say the episode that you were talking about, just for people out there, it's the Alchemist episode by the White Witch podcast with Carly Rose.
that was such a good episode, by the way. Everyone needs to go listen.
Good. I listened to it on repeat, not going to lie. It's a lot of information. It's worth more than one listen, honestly. It was magic. I love her podcast anyway, but that episode was, holy shit. It was a lot.
It was.
A lot of good stuff.
So much good stuff. I had like 9 aha moments. I'm like,
same. I listen to podcasts, driving into work because, I have a long commute. And that one was a good one. It was almost 2 hours long. And I also had a lot of ahas in my car by myself. Holy shit, Carly. Oh my God. Yeah, totally understand what you're saying.
Love it. I love it.
Oh my God. All right. Are there any books in particular? I know you're a reader. I know you have your own library of books in your house. But are there any books in particular, maybe currently or past, that have really shaped where you are now, your journey?
Yeah, I got a long list for you here.
Good.
Let's see. Let me pull it out here. So, I can't remember the first time I read this book, but I was young. I do remember I was pretty young, and it was the first book that, like, moved me. Like, literally changed how I thought.
Okay.
And that was The Alchemist by Paulo Coehlo. I have loved that book my entire life. I've read it, like, now 3 or 4 times. I tend to read it, like, every 10 years. And that book, like, just, I don't know. Every time I read it, I get something different from it, too. So, I don't know. That's one of my favorites. And I have given that as a gift, like, I don't even know how many times. I feel like it is a really, like, if you're, I don't know. How do I say this? It's, like, twofold. Like, if I've known a lot of people where I can see the potential in them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I give them that book to kind of be like a stir. Like, oh, like,
Love it.
maybe I can see potential in myself. And then if someone's a little further along in their journey, it's a really good book to be like, it doesn't matter, like, you can, like, your purpose is your purpose. Like, that's why you're here. It's going to work out. You may have to take some detours or whatever, but that's like, it's going to happen. And so it's a really good kind of reminder when you're in the midst of it that, like, you're on the road, even though sometimes daily it's like, it's just the daily grind, day to day, or whatever. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I love that book. It's amazing. That was the first book ever, to, like, influence me, I feel like. And then when I was getting into meditation, I was at the same time falling out of religion.
Mm-hmm.
I was a Christian. I was baptized a Baptist, and then I went to Methodist church for most of my life after that, until I was out of college. And then when I moved to Nashville, that's kind of about the time that I started to have my own issues with, Christianity and whatever. So
Yeah.
I introduced to meditation, and I was immediately kind of drawn to Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't say that I subscribe to any religion, but for some of the books that I read, like The Buddha Walks into a Bar was the first Buddhist book that I had read. It's by Lordo Rinzler, and it's a very, like, how do I say this? Introductory look at Buddhism, but it's so well written, and it's funny, and it's relatable, and you feel like you're having more of a conversation with Lordo.
Yeah.
And
Love it.
I really enjoyed it, and I felt more drawn to Buddhism in that time period. It led me to like a bunch of other Buddhist books that didn't, I don't know, they didn't resonate the same way as me, as well as this one did. And then there's so many here. I'll speed it up here, but
No, take your time. Honestly, we're cool.
Matt, the guy that got me into meditation and kind of became a little bit more of he's a life coach now, so he's always kind of been more of a mentor to me.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me a book called Journey to the Heart. It's by Malorie, Beattie, and it's a daily read. And that book is like torn apart because I've literally like reread it every year, like every day. For probably 2 years, it was a part of my daily routine. Now I'll open it up every once in a while. But she talks about her journey back to her heart after losing her son. And it's, when I was reading it, not that I was in the same situation as her, but like I had closed down, and it really helped me kind of like open back up, and honestly like helped me get more in tune with my spiritual side. Because it's not like religious, it's more spiritual, like it's more
coming back to you.
And your connection with the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. It's a really good one. I actually recommend that to a lot of people too.
If you can send me a list, I'll put these in the show notes too. Perfect.
Yeah, I definitely do that. A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. Again, just more about like, he really feels like the whole universe and the human race is like evolving into more empathetic beings, I guess. So that's a really cool book. And that's actually, like, the premise of that book has stayed with me and has given me sanity throughout, like, the period of time that we're going through right now. Because I truly feel that, like, as a whole human being, human entity, like, I feel like our energy and our vibration is raising, even though it feels like the opposite most of the time. So that's a good one, especially right now. If people are feeling like, getting more depressive and, having a hard time with where things seem to be via the media and things like that, this is a good book for you to read. It'll give you hope and kind of give you a new perspective on things.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't need that in their life? You know what I mean? I love that. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then to kind of round out the circle, I think it was 2023, I was headed to Nashville to visit my sister, and we were going to Las Vegas for like a music concert or whatever. And there's a cute little bookshop in the Hartford airport that I always stop at because I feel like they just get different books in there. And
Hartford,
they have,
Connecticut?
Yeah, I forget the name.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember the name. It's like it's a chain. It's not a one-off, but
okay.
It's just, I feel like they get like cooler, different books. But I was visiting, and they had a whole like row of Paulo Coehlo's books, and he like redesigned the covers on a lot of them, so they looked new and interesting. And I was like, whoa, I haven't heard of like half of these stories that he wrote. So I bought a bunch of them. I think I bought Brita, 11 Minutes, and then The Pilgrimage, which I started reading immediately. And that was another book that really, I don't know, it's actually Paulo's story of his journey on the road to Santiago, which he had to do because he's actually a part of Knights Templar. It's called something different now, but this organization came from the Knights Templar, and you have to take this like long journey to find your sword, and that's what he was doing. Real life story of his like experiences on this long. It was like a months long like exploration, and there was so many things in it that I was like, whoa, like. If you just open yourself up and you kind of believe, I feel like the sky's the limit with your spiritual journey. And that's what I got from that.
Love that. Absolutely. Yeah. Brita was really good. You introduced that book to me. That was a really good book. A very unexpected ending. I'm not giving anything away, but in my opinion, I thought it was unexpected. But it was a beautiful journey in that book also.
He's just a really great writer.
Yeah.
Just connect with him so deeply.
If I ever need book advice, I go to Kristin.
Thank you. I love the books.
So speaking of journeys,
yeah,
what's one obstacle that was unexpected for you when you first started out in 2013 on this path that you're on?
I don't know if it was like right away. I've been thinking about this, my little journey that I've been on, and I would say the first obstacle was some family members. Okay. Not my immediate family. My mom and dad are very like non-judgmental. They have been supportive of this non-traditional life that I live, but I was very close with my aunts and my cousins, and as I've started to kind of have my own belief system that is outside of religion, I've been told that I'm going to hell, and I have been they've tried to preach to me a bunch of times. So I kind of was taken aback, and I listened with my open heart, and try to get them to understand that I don't think we're like super far apart in like our actual values and our belief systems, but we just look at like, I don't know, not the channel. I don't,
the labels are different.
Yeah, like, and that just caused tension and has eventually obviously led to space. Like, we still say happy birthdays and all of the holidays and stuff like that, but they don't really understand like my views and how like my belief system, which is fine. That's totally fine. And I don't know that I necessarily believe there or understand there. So that was one thing that was kind of unexpected at first. The other thing I will say as a warning to people, especially people that are kind of just starting to get into this, it can be really exciting, and like you want to like be with people that like share the same values and beliefs, and there unfortunately are a lot of people out there that are saying that they're spreading love and light, and they are not. And I got myself stuck into an energetic cult without knowing it.
Yeah.
And that was a really big life lesson for me, I guess I would say, is, I joined an online group of people and, around like energy manifestation, stuff like that. And, a couple months in, I started to realize like, this isn't really for me. And they make it really hard for you to get out. Like, if you try to get out, they like basically gaslight you into like staying and stuff. So that was a terrible experience. They ended up suing me because I just stopped paying them and I stopped going, and I went through this whole legal battle with them, and I'm not allowed to say what group it is because of that, but I just will say, be careful. Make sure, you're doing your research, and don't sign a year contract or a 2-year contract or anything like that. There's a lot of people out here that are doing this stuff for free because it's their purpose. It's what they want to do. Mm-hmm. So that was probably one of my biggest lessons is just take your time, and if something feels off, then it's probably off. Don't
listen to your higher voice.
Exactly.
Listen to that intuition. Thank you for saying that too, because like you said, people that are just coming or, waking up to whatever their spiritual awakening is, however that's unfolding for them, may not even think about something like that. So Thank you for bringing that to the light, because that's some dark shit.
Yes.
That someone could, especially if they're just trying to find community and want to belong somewhere, because, what if they are coming out of a deeply religious, situation, and it's not for them, and they are, taking upon their free will to leave, but now they have nobody to connect with, and then they find something like that. So, yeah, thank you very much for bringing that up. That's a great point.
Yeah, I don't want that to happen to anyone. I was a little further, I guess, I don't know, further into my spiritual journey, but still, I don't know, yeah, it can happen to anyone,
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm glad. I wanted to say something because I'm this was a huge thing for me. I've kind of, put it aside now, and it's been a few years, and, I don't think about it much, but I wanted to, put that out there because it is true. There are people out there just trying to take advantage of other people. And
yeah, absolutely. We were in the women's group today. I talked about it on Danny's episode about Gaia Group. And, one of the women in the group she's a Reiki master, and she was talking about how, there are people out there that take advantage. And unfortunately, that is accurate, as sad as it is.
Yeah.
They just are out there for the money and not in it for the actual healing properties, Mm-hmm. So.
And karma will come back around.
That's
my manifesto. You will get what happened. You'll get what deserves you.
Right, you deserve. Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. The other thing that I've struggled with, and I kind of want to say this because, Misty, we've talked about this. I've talked about this with my other friend, Dawn. And I feel like other people may feel the same way. Kind of thinking that you have to find a lane or a label or step into some sort of identity when it comes to your spiritual journey. That's something I've struggled with. My coven, I guess, Misty and Dawn and our friend Faye, they're very witchy, and I don't know, maybe it's my religious background or whatever. I've always been oh, I'm not witchy, even though I do all the same rituals and routines and practices and stuff like that. So I'm a person that I have a hard time stepping into labels and stuff like that too. But I think that's the wonderful thing about your spiritual journey too, especially the one that I've found, is I kind of gotten to the point where I'm I don't necessarily need to have a label. I don't need to say that I'm a witch. I don't need to say that I'm an alchemist. I don't need to say that I'm a healer. I am still figuring out, all the things, and I've enjoyed every part of my spiritual journey, and it's actually taken me down many different little detours and rabbit holes and stuff. So I don't know, don't feel like you have to have it figured out. Fitting in or trying to label myself, I think, has been another obstacle that I'm is it one? I don't know. So that's the other thing I wanted to mention.
I totally agree with that. Labels are not necessary. I 100% agree. I think if you put yourself in a box because you feel like you have to, then you're just limiting yourself, and you're not allowing yourself to open up any more than you already have. So that's a great point. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Any other obstacles you want to mention? Anything
No.
else you want to bring up?
Let's see. Yeah, you had one other question that I had a bunch of stuff in here too. So it was like, what advice would you give a person that's looking to go deeper into their spiritual practice?
Yeah, that's the next one. You got it.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we're going to go there or not.
Oh, we're going there.
So this is a big one for me, and this is probably the first thing that came to mind for me because it's hard.
Yeah.
And that's discipline. You know, if you ignore your gifts and your spiritual connection, then you're not nurturing it, you're not growing it, you're not, what did I say? Nurturing? Yeah, I did. What's the word? I was looking for another word, but it's gone. So I will go in like phases where it's really easy for me to get into my routine, and my routine looks like usually in the morning. I've been playing around with this changing, which I don't know if it's working or not, but like I used to in the morning, I would get up, I'd go shower, do my daily like get up stuff. Then I would sit, do a meditation, not a super long one, usually like a 5-10 minute long one. Then I do my gratitude journal, and then I'd pull some cards for the day. And it makes me, just feel really good about like the day and like where it's going to go and starting the day and stuff. And I'll go through like phases where I don't do that. Like this whole summer's been very like transformational, and I've gone through a lot of stuff. So it's been harder for me to like sit in that discipline and like do it every day. I also wanted to try to do it at night because I feel like I like to take my time with it, and it can take like, an hour and a half for me to like get through everything. And in the mornings that can be hard sometimes, especially like in the mornings, I feel more energetic to like just get shit done.
Yeah.
And if I do my whole routine, then I'm kind of like, like, okay, I'll go do some work and whatever. So I'm trying to like get in the routine of like going up to my room earlier and then just taking the time to like do it at night. But discipline is definitely key, especially if you're trying to like grow your spiritual connection, and like, nurture that. So, and then what else? So meditation, and this is going to kind of couple along with something else I'm going to bring up, but, for me, I mean, I could either be outside, like on a trail, or, mostly I feel like I connect better in the woods. Yes. I can go outside and put my feet in my lawn, but I'm right on a main road, and, it's kind of grounding. But I don't necessarily feel the same peace and connection as when I like go on a trail that has like no people on it, and so
like the rail trail.
Yes, the rail trail is amazing. We are blessed to live in an area that has a very long rail trail with lakes and ponds and fields, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. So I will find myself on that a lot, taking the time, and I feel really connected when I'm walking and doing that. And then the only other time is like when I actually do like sit and meditate. And if I haven't done that in a while, always the first time I sit, I'm like, why have I put this aside? Like, it feels so good.
Yeah.
I would say those are probably the two best ways that I felt the most connected to, my spiritual side, to the universe, to, spirit guides, however you want to talk about that. But what goes hand in hand with meditation, and I've told all my friends this that talk to me about meditation, because a lot of people have hesitation around it, but I think you can use the same practicality in spirituality in your spiritual practice, and that's like beginner's mind. And beginner's mind is like the attitude of like openness, curiosity, eagerness. You've got no preconceptions, and you have no expectations because you've never done it before.
Yeah.
I think the more you get into your spiritual practice, your spiritual development, like you start to have these expectations on yourself.
Yes.
At least I do. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I'm maybe other people don't, but I do, and I have to remind myself like every day's a new day. It's kind of like golf. Like one day you can have the best round of your entire life, and literally the next very day you're terrible. And I feel like that's kind of how it is with your spirituality and your spiritual connection. Like sometimes you're gonna feel like in the zone, in the flow, like
Mm-hmm.
you're feeling all the things. You're feeling like you're living with your life's purpose, and then there's gonna be times where you're just like I'm just being a human, and I'm just in the day to day right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. I totally understand, and I am with you. I'm kind of in that slump right now, although to be fair, I have been pulling my tarot cards every morning. But journaling's been a little weak. I love my journaling, you know I do. But I think it's a normal thing to have ebbs and flows in your spiritual practice. 100%.
Yes.
And sometimes those ebbs last a little longer, and sometimes those flows last a little longer. So,
And
it
don't
can
have
be
any judgment around it. Just let it be.
exactly, exactly. That's one thing for me that I've learned is expectations, for me personally, cause anxiety. They cause my mind to just go wherever. I'm like, oh shit, should I have said that or offered that up? Can I really accommodate, or can I, commit to those things? Because life happens. You know what I mean? So anyway, that was my little rant about
Yeah.
expectations.
Yeah. Yep. I think be gentle, but
Yeah.
also, be
Hold
disciplined.
yourself accountable at some points
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if you're
Exactly.
really trying to grow
Right.
and you're like, oh, I've done it for a week. It's not really me. Well, you didn't really give it a chance. You know what I mean?
I've done it for 10 years. It's not really me.
Right. You mentioned spirit guides, if you're willing. Do you work with any? Do you have any in particular that you've connected with? Oh, we're
So,
bringing it up off topic, kind of.
yeah, I've been in this place for probably the last 2 years. I don't know when we first started talking about this. Maybe it's only been a year. I feel like it's been two, but I have tried all the things, meditation, opening up before bed, saying like I'd like to meet my spirit guides. Um, I I don't know. I've had a couple things that have come up, but I'm still not certain on. One I think I told you about was a dream I had probably a year, maybe even more than that. I was like, so I do marketing for my full-time job for everyone. And I was at like this huge conference, and I had this guy's name, and now I can't even remember the name. We could probably remember if we tried, but
That's right. I
um,
remember now. Yeah, go
and
ahead.
I'm looking all over the conference for this guy, and I go into like this food court or something, and I was like, oh, I'm like, are you? And I can't remember the name, and he was like, yeah, and this gentleman he looks kind of British, but like very like GQ British, like has this like green, like satiny, but like very looks like wicked tailored suit
Very dapper.
on. Yeah, and he had like very tight, like high and tight, like haircut, and just very like well put together. And he was like, yeah, I'm blah 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 blah. And that's like as much as the dream that I remember now. And I remember thinking like, is this a spirit guide? Because of like he had this kind of also this wait, how do you say it? Ethereal or ethereal?
Ethereal.
Ethereal, there we go. Kind of vibe to him and his like suit.
Yeah.
Um, so that happened, and then we had a medium come to the Gaia group this past, I don't know,
Yes.
like spring maybe? Was it spring? Winter? I don't know. Um, and I have never had a medium like do anything with me. I've been in like large groups of people when mediums have talked, and I've never been a person that like gets to commune with a past one or a spirit guide or an angel or anything. So I wasn't like expecting a lot out of that, and then she was like, Archangel Uriel wants to talk to you. And I was like, what? And it kind of took me off guard because up until that point, I had kind of connected the archangels with the Catholic Church. And so I was like, no, they're not trying to talk to me because I'm off religion. But she's like, oh yeah. And, kind of gave me some pointers on my spiritual purpose and path. And I was like, wow, that's very interesting. So I've done like a bunch of research around Uriel and tried to, like, I have a candle for him that I light.
Oh.
And I've tried to connect with him a bunch of times, and I don't know. I'm not able to get there yet. So
Okay.
I'm still trying, but those are my spirit guide like experiences until this point.
I love that.
Oh, and I have a hawk. My hawk maybe is my spirit guide. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
I was just going to ask, are there any animal associations with Uriel? I'm not
yeah,
sure.
he's a woodland birds and creatures.
There you go.
Yeah, that I actually
Did we just make that connection?
I think I might have made that because who was I telling? I was just telling someone about Uriel, and I was like, oh, the hawk.
Yes, Kristin.
So I have this hawk that I see all the time, and like a couple weeks ago, he was literally on my front lawn, and I got out and got wicked close, and he was just chilling and looking at me, and I'm like, what is your message? Tell me your message. I want to know what the message is.
He wasn't ready. He's just presenting himself to you like, I'm here.
Yep.
I think that's awesome that you just have him around. Maybe
Me
that is
too.
your message. You know what I mean? Just acknowledgement that he's there around you.
Yeah.
Not necessarily there to tell you something, but just to know that he's there for you.
I got him. He's
support.
got my back.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Yes, I do. I feel like in a few readings and stuff, I've gotten the message that I am protected, I'm divinely protected, and that honestly, I feel like that's the best. What's the words? Faith. It really helps me have that faith in God, universe, whatever you want to call it. Because I do feel like that. It's taken me a long time to get to that point, but I do feel like I'm being protected and supported. So.
I think that's amazing. That's beautiful. I love every bit of it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I appreciate it.
I loved this. I'm glad that we were able to connect and share. I'm so happy that you're doing this, and I can't wait to hear all your other episodes.
I am so excited. I can't express it any more than I'm literally radiating, and I'm just so jazzed to have people I love and care about, and even people I don't know well that are willing to come on, and I can't wait to have those episodes come out too. So thank you. I think we're onto something.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, you are. Yes. You have the perfect spirit and personality. You're very calm and centered person, and you're open, and this has been wonderful to be able to share my experience, and I appreciate you taking the time and having this container for me to be able to do that.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for your kind words, making me blush. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on.
You're welcome. Thanks, Miss.
All right, take care.